Most men think their personality is who they are. It's not. Your tone, your voice, your hesitation, all of these things are programmed within you. In this video, I'm going to share 5 ways you've been programmed, why you've been programmed, how you've been programmed, and how we can utilize that to improve who you are. So you can decide what's real and what you can change to become the best version of yourself. So the first thing is you've been programmed to believe that words matter more than presence, more than your action, more than how you do something. You've been programmed to believe it's what you do. What you say does not matter as much as how you say it. The how is where the magic happens. The how is where the convincing happens, where you can become somebody. We can all say the same thing, but we can say it so many different ways, with so many different actions and so much different presence, that one can convey a strong message and one can convey a weak message. I remember the point where I realized this, and we were talking about conversation. It was during my UFC journey when I was doing a lot of TV work and a lot of interviews, and I sat down with a very good friend of mine, Chael P. Sonnen, and he explained to me that you have been programmed to have conversations a certain way. And that comes down to weakness, and it comes down to not believing in yourself and your message. Normally, you believe conversations are two-way. I say something, you say something, I say something, you say something. But having a conversation, depending if you're trying to make a sale, you're speaking to a woman, whatever the audience is, the avatar is, comes down to you leading and other people following. There's always a leader in the conversation and a follower in the conversation. Now, generally, when you're talking to a group or you're telling a story, you are the leader. So you have to do things that make you lead. And the things that make you lead are not generally what you say. It's more how you say it, the conviction of what you say, etc., etc., etc. You have a lot of times when you're in the UFC and you're fighting, you have people ask you questions and they try and get gotcha moments, or they try and funnel you into certain directions. And he said, remember, it doesn't matter the question they ask. You can say whatever you want in response. So you don't have to follow this stupid, they say this, you say that response. They can ask you something and you can answer completely randomly and change the direction of the conversation. This makes you a leader in conversation. The person asking the question, they believe they have the power. They believe they're the one directing the conversation. But your answer can take it in a different direction. So when it comes to a date, you're on a date with a woman and you want to get to know about her, are you the leader or are you the follower? Are you the one asking questions or are you the one answering them? An interesting interaction between you and a girl is not going to be you going through a shopping list of questions that you've created to get her answers. That's not going to be compelling. What's going to be compelling is if you allow her to speak and tell you stories and make her feel that she is leading the conversation, but really you're the one steering it by saying minimal things, not by asking her what's her favorite color. You know, there's close-ended questions are not going to get you what you want. You want to have her open up. The way she opens up is discussing herself, talking about herself, by you making statements, making short phrases, by you directing, by you leading, not by having a back and forth conversation. And when it came to someone asking you questions like, how are you going to beat this guy? When it comes to fighting, how are you going to win this fight is a question you'd always get asked. Oh, I'm going to win by knockout in the first round. Boring. You have to take it on a different tangent. Something called a pattern interrupt. When you're communicating with someone and you're talking back and forth about the same mundane, boring bullshit, you just say something random and that'll give you some sort of interruption to the conversation. That'll make it more intriguing, more interesting, will make you seem, you know, like more mysterious or whatever you want to call it. So the number one thing you have to understand that you've been programmed to think communication is all about what you say. It is not about what you say, it is about how you say it. So you need to start thinking about how you say things, how you convince people, how you act in group dynamics. Are you the guy that sits there that's really, really quiet and doesn't say a lot? Or are you the guy that has presence and stands there and people come to you for advice and ask you questions? What is the role that you play and how do you start changing that role? The how, not the what. And this factor all comes down to the fact that 93% of communication is nonverbal. How you stand, how you sit, where you stand, your posture, how you talk, the tempo of your conversation. the tempo of how you articulate yourself. All of these things are way more important than what you say. 93% of what you say is not the words coming out your mouth. It's how it's said, the motion, everything else. So you have to really, really think about this. That's the great thing about YouTube. It's a great thing about content. You video yourself, you see yourself on camera a lot, and you evaluate these things. You need to do this in real time. You need to look at yourself, think about yourself. And a great exercise that you can do to help yourself is you could do like a random search on ChatGPT. You can say, give me a random topic to talk about. It will give you a random topic. Video yourself talking about that topic for 2 minutes. You have to fulfill it for 2 minutes. It can't be short. It has to be that amount of time. Once you hit the 2-minute mark, go back and watch yourself talking about something completely random. It does not matter what you say. It's all about how you say it. And there's this thing called the and counter. Go through that video and count the amount of times you say you say you use filler words, you say but, you say and you pause, and try and remove those every single time. That'll make your conversation more compelling. Rather than saying, I think, just pause and hold and think. You don't need to fill the space, because when you fill the space with filler words, it makes you seem uncertain. That stops you conveying your message. So rather than the and the ums, just, okay, so this point. Okay, so this point. Rather than, but this point, but that point. Hopefully that helps, and it's something that you can actually put into practice right now. Now, the second point, which maybe is the most important out of the 5, is the fact that you were programmed to outsource your identity. You are programmed to externally validate yourself. I did a full video on this, on external validation, but this is one of the most important points. You're told that your grades, they externally validate your intelligence. The money you make externally validates how much you're worth, and the attention you can garner validates your value. None of this is true. All of these things are just indicators of where you are on the journey of life, or what point you are at, and you should see them as such, rather than trying to externally validate yourself and being reactive to those points. This is the big important part of it. Rather than reacting to how other people see you, you need to decide internally, choose who you are. And by choosing who you are and who you want to become, you internally validate those decisions and you push that onto the world. You push and portray that into reality, because you've decided who you want to be. You haven't reactively decided because of certain indications that the grades you got make you dumb. You've thought, I want to be an intelligent person, so I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to make sure that I have this. I want to be able to communicate better, so I'm going to do the exercise that Luke told me to do in the first point. And I'm going to do that every single week. You decide that. You think about it. You give it thought, and you don't just float through life and react and react and react and react. You decide, you become chosen. You think you have value because you believe it inside yourself, not because it's how much money you make, what car you drive, what house you live in, what girlfriend you've got. None of those things matter, because they are just variables that change in your life. And we are going to be up and we are going to be down. Once you are up, it doesn't mean your value is more, and once you are down, it doesn't mean your value is less. That's what you have to realize. As long as you are on a journey and you are pushing yourself, those things don't change. So the point is that those of you that are on a journey, and those of you who have purpose, you use external validation as indicators of changes that you need to make. A good exercise, a way to look at yourself, especially in the world of social media, is look at yourself as a product. Look at yourself as something you are selling to the world. And by looking at yourself as such, you can validate the product that you're selling, but not yourself. So you can evaluate that product and look at it and think about the changes you have to make to that product to make it have value to an audience. Not you, not yourself, not your soul, not the person that you are, not your worth, but the product that you are selling. And that comes down to business. If you're trying to sell something online, comes down if you're trying to get a girlfriend or you're trying to meet a woman, maybe you need to move around certain things, get in better shape, act a certain way, talk a certain way, be a certain way. That doesn't change who you are, it's just changing the product that you're selling. And if you look at it this way, you can make adaptations to that product and improve yourself. Doesn't mean you're not valuable, as you are, but you want to become more and work harder and be better at every part of life. And you can just evaluate it without taking it so personally and without getting down about it and without feeling negative about it. Oh, I tried to do this thing and it didn't work because X, Y, and Z. That's a positive. You now know that those 3 things don't work. You need to change them. You need to improve them. You need to become better, and you can try again. It's not you that has no worth. It's the product that you're trying to sell, for example. And that this mentality of evaluation and looking at yourself, this is something that is missing now. The hard work of being like, this didn't work, I'm going to do this, this, and this to make it work. This, for me, comes from fighting. You have a fight, you look at the position you're in, the fight that you had, the mistakes that you made, the things that you did well, you watch the tape, you reevaluate it, you go there with your coach or your mentor, you work on the things that you did badly, you become better at them, you go to the next fight. We don't have the fight. That's the problem. It is a constant improvement mechanism. So we need to constantly be evaluating everything that we do. I try and do it every week on a Sunday, look back at my week, look at what I did well, look at what I did badly, look at what I can improve, what my goals are, how I'm going to achieve them, and use this cycle to improve who we are. So remember, you are being programmed to outsource your identity. Let's not do that anymore. Don't outsource, internalize. Look at yourself, try and improve yourself, try and become better. And now the third point, you've been programmed to disguise fear as humility. I said this recently on Twitter and within my community. Fuck being humble. Being humble gets you nowhere in life. And I'm going to talk about it and explain it now to you so you can really understand. Most fears are intuition. You're scared of fucking tigers because they're going to eat you and they're going to kill you. You're scared of every danger you can think of. When you're crossing the road and a car's driving towards you fast, it creates fear. But when we talk about social structure, these things, this is all to do with programming. Think about the tribe mentality, growing up in tribes. So because we grew up in tribes, the social structure of our lives made us act certain ways to move forward in life. And this is learned behavior. So this has been installed in you. This is programmed in you by society. So society has programmed you to act a certain way because you believe it will get you further in life. And the thing they say is be humble. This is social programming. Be humble, because they program you that discomfort is a danger. Being uncomfortable should be dangerous. You don't want to be uncomfortable. You want to be comfortable. You want to look after yourself. You want to protect yourself. You want to wrap yourself in cotton wool, like we do with children now. All of these things, they do not help you evolve. They do not help you become better. They do not push you in any way. They keep you small. Being humble keeps you small, and I'm going to explain why. Because most of the time, the reality is fear of a situation now in a social structure, and I'm not talking about a tiger. I'm talking about the social fear, right? The fear of embarrassment, the fear of making a mistake, the fear of being rejected. These things, this fear that you've created in your own mind, that society is programmed into you, only holds you back, only makes you smaller. It means when you feel that fear or that discomfort, this means you're on the edge of something, the edge of growth, the edge of becoming better, the edge of improvement. That's what you need to go through and you need to bypass to become better. Fear is the main thing. And we are disguising fear as humility. Now, I'm going to use fighting as an example, as I always do. Who is the best paid, most famous fighter in the world in the UFC? A guy called Conor McGregor, the least humble man on planet Earth. But he connects with the audience the best, people want to watch him the most, he makes the most money. And again, fighting's so good because, when you talk about humility, being humble leading up to a fight, it does not help you. It is disguising fear. If you vocalize yourself and say, I'm going to fucking knock this prick out, that's not humble. But that is motivating, and that shows that you believe in yourself. If you think be humble, don't say anything, don't talk badly, all you are doing is disguising fear as humility. I'm a humble guy, I don't like to talk badly about my opponents, I don't like to call people out, I don't like to call my shots, I don't like to say what I'm going to do, because my actions will speak louder than my words. It's bullshit. It's a lie. That's what you are saying because you are afraid that if you say I'm going to knock this guy out in the first round, you go out there and you lose. And everyone's going to say, oh, you said you were going to do this, you said you were going to do that. And the reason fighting encapsulates this so well, and we can use that and project that into our lives, is because it has finality. It has that moment that you talk about. You say, I'm going to win this fight, I'm going to win my knockout, and then you don't. So it has finality. Life doesn't have finality. So I believe in winning and in victory in that moment. Humility is important. And that is when humility is important. And that is when you should be humble. When you've already fucking won. Because you have nothing to prove. Before, when you have something to prove, being humble only hurts you. Being quiet only hurts you. Not talking up only hurts you. Not believing in yourself only hurts you. Because all you do is train your inner dialogue, train yourself, train your mind to act small, to be small, to not have vigor and want to go out there and win, to not believe in yourself because you're saying, I'm humble. I'm humble. That doesn't help you. You want to believe in yourself, and you want to, there was something that was said, I can't remember the exact quote, but it's something like, if you believe it enough to speak the words into existence and bring that into existence, that is the steps of action you need. That is real, true self-belief. I believe X, so I say Y, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. And you're willing to say it and speak it into the universe and speak it into truth and speak it into reality. If you're not willing to speak it into reality and you're not even saying it out loud, that means you don't believe it enough, which means you're training your brain to believe that it's not even worth it. You're not capable of this, you're not capable of X, you're not capable of Y, you can't do that. You should stay small, you should stay in the system. You should, no, I'm not going to become an entrepreneur because it's scary. That's what you're training your brain. I can't get that girl, so I'm never going to tell myself I can get that girl, because then if I get rejected by that girl, I don't get hurt. That is humility. Fear is disguised as humility. You are disguising it. You're training yourself to stay small. You should think, I am the fucking man. I am going to conquer. I am going to do this. I'm going to go out and get what I deserve because I deserve it. First, you need to believe you deserve it. Then you need to say that you deserve it, and then you need to go get it. That is the shortcut, the fastest way to getting anything that you want in your life. Believing you deserve it. And being humble is training your inner dialogue and telling the universe that you do not deserve it because you do not believe in yourself. So, number 3, fuck being humble. The 4th factor is you were programmed to inherit a script that you're going to live your life by. To inherit that script. Someone else has told you how you should live your life. And most of the time, the things that you are doing in your life, you are doing to impress somebody else, a father, a mentor, someone you look up to, someone that you believe has got your best interest at heart. Like, father's the normal one, the basic one for everybody. You want to impress your dad, or you want to impress your mom, or you want to impress whoever it is that you look up to. So you are doing an inherited script. You are living your life a certain way because you believe they'll be impressed by it in the future. Now, I've spoken about this many, many times, and selecting those people that you look up to is one of the most important decisions that you can make, but most of it is inherited through family. So I want to say, unless your father is fucking killing it in every metric, and he is the fucking man, you should not look up to your father. You should be proud of your father, and you should be respectful towards your father, and you should achieve things and show him and be, make him proud. That's a different discussion. But you don't need to live your life like him, or like he said, or what he believes is the right way to live. Because most of the time, the generations change, and how you become successful in life has changed. My dad believes, not now, but he believed that you get a nice job, you should get a good wage, and from that good wage you buy a house and you raise a family. That would make him proud because that worked in the 50s. It doesn't work anymore. There is no way you can have one job and you can build a life that is worth anything. I mean, not no way, there's certain jobs, but you know what I mean? As a young entrepreneur, now to succeed in the world, you have to be good at lots of things. You have to be able to move, you have to be able to think, you have to be able to think outside the box, and you have to be able to create. And that's a different generation. My father's way of living does not work in this generation. It never would. He's not versatile enough, my father, because he didn't have to be. If my dad had to be, he would have been, but he didn't. He was pretty versatile as an entrepreneur, but not versatile enough to survive right now. Versatility is what you need. Wearing many hats, doing many things, and doing them well. Don't let this inherited script ruin your life. You have to write your own script. You have to understand who you want to be. You have to program yourself internally. Again, that story that you are telling yourself, that script that has been written for your life, you have to take control of it. You have to write the script. You have to tell the story. And this is the part that's so important. You can tell any story that you want. It does not matter. And this is one of the factors that makes living the life that you want to live so hard if you stay where you grew up. Because you've inherited that story from your school friends, from your work colleagues, from your parents, from your neighbors, from everyone who knew you when you were a child. You are not that child anymore. You can be whoever you want. You can be anybody you want to be, but you have to tell yourself that story. And to change that story, you normally need a change of environment, unless you are so mentally strong that you can tell that story to the people that have known you your entire life. And it's so easy to write a new script in a new place where nobody knows you. And that's lying, that whatever, who gives a fuck? I couldn't care less if you tell lies, couldn't care less. As long as it takes you in the right direction. There's nothing wrong with being dishonest if it is improving your life. I'm not talking about scamming people. I'm talking about scamming yourself into believing a story about yourself. Women do this all the time. They will blame everybody else and never blame themselves. They write the script in their mind that they are perfect and it was the rest of the world's fault. Because that keeps them pure, which is the purity is what a lot of people value. They want to be pure. The way they are pure of mind is they blame everybody else. They don't take responsibility for who they are. I don't want you to do that. I want you to do the opposite. I want you to take complete responsibility of who you are, but I want you to write a script and a story about yourself that you're going to live by to get you to become that man that you want to become. You need to take that script, rewrite it, and be that man. And that is a confident man that does what he says he's going to do, lives life, takes every opportunity, and is not afraid of anything. You can be that guy today, right now. Just write the story. That's who I am now. And when the next opportunity comes, rather than your internal dialogue saying, that's scary, I'm afraid of that, I shouldn't do that, that's a risk, you're that guy who takes all risks, always wins, never fails, does everything he needs to do, isn't afraid. That's who you need to internalize. So the way you internalize that is by telling that story over and over and over and over again. And a simple way to do that is practice your introduction. When you meet somebody new, who are you? How do you introduce yourself? Hi, I'm Luke and I own a podcast studio. Gay, right? You need to think of a story that is going to be compelling, that people are going to want to get to know you, that has hooks in with further questions. We talk about this in depth in my community, so you can go in there to see it. But that's the very, very fast track way to improve your life, is to tell a new story. You don't need to have lived a certain life to tell a new story. You tell the story to live the life that you want. It's back to front. You've been taught the wrong way. You've been programmed the other way, that I can only tell a story about myself that I have lived, that I have done. You can say whatever you want. Comes back to the conversation theory where we spoke about early. You get asked a question and you answer it. Do you want to live in a reactive mindset, or do you want to live in an action set mindset? Do you set the action or do you react? Now, in a conversation, if someone asks you a question, you can answer however you want. You don't have to answer in a certain framework. You need to create the framework. You need to create the script. You need to create who you are. So take control of your life by writing the script. Answer the question however the fuck you want. It does not have to correlate. It does not have to correlate with the conversation. You can be that pattern interrupt for your life. Your life needs a pattern interrupt if you're trying to change it and move it in a new direction. Be the pattern interrupt, write a new script, act a new way, be a new man. And this leads perfectly into the fifth point, because you were programmed to believe that you need permission for these things. Most of you are waiting for permission to become more confident, to earn more money, to live with more clarity. You're waiting for permission, for someone to tell you that you're worth it, to someone to tell you that you deserve it, to someone to tell you that it's okay. It's okay to act like this. Make that me if you want. You don't need anybody, but make it me. Say, Luke told me that I could be like this. If that's what you need to move to the next step. Because you don't need anybody to tell you how to live. You don't need anybody to give you permission to be a better person. You don't need anybody to justify to you, to your family, to where you live, anything. You don't need justification. You don't need permission. You just need to do it. If you want to live a certain way, do it. You don't need somebody to open a door for you, open a gateway. You need somebody to identify it in your mind. That is me. I have identified to you that you have the responsibility as a man to live your best life. It's your responsibility. You don't need somebody else to give you permission, to give you the keys to the kingdom. You have the keys to the kingdom. You just need to work towards them. You've been programmed to believe that authority was something granted to you externally by your boss, by your parents, by your school teachers, by whoever. They give you a certain grade, so you're a certain level of intelligence. Fuck all that bullshit. You don't need to be granted it. You don't need to be given it externally. You need to gain it internally. You need to believe it. Truly believe it. This takes work. This takes effort. And this is how you compound success within yourself. You realize your achievement every day. You tick a box that says, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. I'm a winner. All these other people losing around me, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. They don't need to be big things. They can be small things, goals that you set every single day that you achieve. I wake up at a certain time, I go to the gym, I do this, I do this. These that compound into you being a winner and you having an inner belief. You know, I remember, this has happened to me on so many different times. We call them limiting beliefs. You would have heard the phrase limiting belief. You have a ceiling, a limiting belief. You can earn a certain amount of money. You can be a certain level of man. You can whatever. These limiting beliefs. There's so many inside of our mind that we need to break through. You know, and I broke through it in fighting to start with, and that's what led me on to money and led me on to business, led me on to everything else. I remember about longer than that now, probably 7 years ago, I had one of the worst weeks of my life, and I lost a big business opportunity. It failed. I stopped fighting. I smashed my laptop to pieces. I owed money on my car. I owed money on my house, and I was freaking out. And I rang my dad, because my dad's the guy I always ring when I have issues like this. And my dad said to me, listen, son, I know you, and you will figure it out. And again, I externally gave my dad the time to validate me. And he said to me, I know you, son. I know who you are. I know what you're built of. And I know that you will figure this out. I know, I'm not even worried. You know, I don't know why you're so worried. I don't know why you got all this stress. You'll sort it out, you always do. And then 3 weeks later, I rang my dad, and I had got a whole new business opportunity that was making killer money. I'd sorted out my car, obviously. I bought a new laptop, and my life was moving in a whole different direction. And he just said, see, it took you 3 weeks. So all of that fear, all that bullshit that you had in your brain, and that was the moment I realized that, no, I actually believed in myself. I always believed in myself in fighting, but I know now, deep down in my soul, that whatever happens in my life, I'll sort it out. Whatever, doesn't matter what it is. It's not the externality of the thing, it's the internality of me that I know I can go through any part of life. And it's such a powerful place to be. And it takes work to get there. And I'm reading a book right now called Wisdom Takes Work. And there's a lot of points in that really make me realize that everything that goes on in our life and all of these points that I talk about in these videos, there's not a moment where you get there and it just works. It's constant work forever. All of these decisions, I'm saying you need to internalize yourself. You need to change your inner monologue. You need to believe in yourself. You need to do that forever. That's something that you have to understand, that you have to cognitively think about and condition yourself to believe it. But that doesn't mean once you turn a switch, it's forever. You need to consistently remember who you are. You need to consistently push yourself past things. You need to always be working on yourself. None of us are a finished product. We are all constantly working. And failures happen, and it's how you react to those failures. Things go wrong, and it's how you react to those things. The entire understanding of Stoicism and the belief system that you install inside yourself as a man. Things are going to go wrong, but you need to believe, like I do, like my father taught me, like these moments taught me, like that phone call that I had, that it doesn't matter, son, I know you, and you will sort it out. I need to believe, I know me. I've been down in very, very low moments, and I've been at very, very high moments, and whatever happens in my life, I'll be able to sort it out. I believe that 100%. And that's what I want you to get to. To get there, you need a lot of life experience, a lot of problems, a lot of things that you have to solve, a lot of emotional bullshit you go through that makes you realize that it wasn't that bad. And another really great bit of advice that I got from one of my mentors was, when life is bad, it's never as bad as you think it is. When life is good, it's never as good as you think it is. It's somewhere in the middle. And it's learning to not emotionally react to the highs and emotionally react to the lows, because that's what gives it power. If you just say, oh, okay, this is going on, I've got to do this. Oh, this is great, but I've got to do this. That will keep you building in a certain direction. You have been programmed to believe so much about yourself And you need to question everything. And that's what these videos are about. They're about you questioning who you are, what you do, why you do it. And most importantly, how. Like I said, 93% of communication with the world, the way you portray yourself, the way you talk, the way you act, is non-verbal communication. What you're portraying to the world is non-verbal. You need to evaluate that 93% because you've probably only thought about the 7%, that you're communicating to the world. When you're in business, the things that you say, they don't matter as much as how you say them. If people believe in you, they'll believe whatever you say. So you need to make them believe in you. The way you make them believe in you is you believe in yourself. External factors are supposed to inform you, not define who you are, but they can show you where you are right now on this journey of life. But who you become in this life is an internal decision that you have to come to. Not externally, internally. You need to put energy and effort into understanding who you are and where you want to go. And the key here, the key point of this whole video is once you identify the programming, once you can see it, you peek behind the curtain and you understand that you are even being programmed. 99% of the world are walking around not even knowing. Once you know that fact, you can override it. So now, from this video, from you looking at your life, from you thinking and evaluating your situation, you are being programmed. Trust me, you are being programmed. Now it's time to override it. And once we understand we are being programmed and we need to override it, how do we override it? We program ourselves, but with better programming. Everyone is programmed. All the content you watch, all the films you watch, all the media you absorb, all the messages you read, the stupid memes that you're getting sent by your friend. It's programming, constant programming. And you need to be able to deflect all the programming and only internalize the things that you need to improve your life. The solution I have for you is my community. I will program you the right way. I will give you the right messaging. You will constantly be programming your mind with things that can help you and bring you forward. This will put a stop to the elite level brainwashing that you've been under for so many years, and it will clear your mind and allow you to make the decision for yourself, to program yourself the way you deserve to be programmed, to live the life that you want. You can join this mental reset with the upgrade by clicking the link in my description below. But even if you don't do that, now you have a key to the kingdom. You have an understanding. You know you are being programmed. Just go away after this video, evaluate who you are, what you are doing, and think about the programming you're taking on. Think about the script you've inherited. Let's rewrite that script. Let's become who you want to become, and let's make that decision right fucking now.